We're going to talk about something a little bit different this time. I haven't seen a lot of talk about Nicole and her media appearance. We know she had the interviews with the law enforcement, and I have those videos on the channel. Most of them. I will be getting the other ones up as well. But she also went to the media with her story. But here's the thing. She did not go to the media until 4 days before sentencing. She went on November the 15th. Well, she didn't go. They met her. But on November the 15th, which was on a Thursday. Okay, Chris Watts' sentencing was on November the 19th. So why she didn't go to the media before then, who knows, right? Who knows? I mean, it looks like she would have wanted to, correct? If she was innocent, it looks like she would have wanted to, but at the same time, someone advised her, I believe someone advised her that she needed to go ahead and go to the media with her story before sentencing. That way, it would more than likely leave her name out of the sentencing in case Chris decided to redact his plea. And he could have. He could have redacted that plea. Right. I mean, he had up until the moment of sentencing to redact that plea. And had he redacted it, then of course there would have been a trial, there would have been a jury, all that, But with her going to the media beforehand, that was putting her innocence looking more plausible in the event there was a trial to possible people that were going to serve on jury duty if there was a trial with the jury. Her story would already be out there in media. And they already knew her side of the story, right? So she would not have so much to prove if she had to get on stand. And people would already have a sense of feeling about her, like the jurors would already have a sense of feeling about her from seeing her media interview, right? Personally, I think that's why she waited and she didn't go ahead and go to media earlier on. And we all know that even from her interview, she was saying that the media was contacting her, and she was trying to stay away from the media, and she had spent the night with her friends. She had spent the night at her dad's or something here and there because she did not want to talk to media whatsoever. She did not want to be brought up in the media at all. But someone, 4 days before sentencing, said, hey, you need to go to media with this. Because if he redacts his plea, well, they're going to have a jury, and, well, you need to go ahead and do this. So she did. And she brought her attorney with her, too, to this one. And actually, no, she didn't bring him. Here's actually what happened. She called Denver Post, which is the local newspaper, and told them she wants to tell them her side of the story, and had them actually meet her at her attorney's office. So this whole interview here was actually done at his office, not actually at the Denver Post. They came to her. Her attorney's name's Ed Hopkins. He's a defamation attorney. Here in a minute we're going to go over him, what credentials he has, what sort of attorney he has. If you're not familiar with that sort of attorney, we're going to go over that. I'm not sure why she would have felt she needed that kind of attorney, but she did, obviously, because that's what he specializes in. That is his law field. So anyway, this is the actual, what you're looking at here, this is the actual article that was printed, of course, online on their website. As you can see, this is the Denver Post website. And this is the actual article that was printed into the local newspaper as well as the website. Another thing kind of odd about this article is, I don't know if it's odd, a coincidence or whatever, but there's 1,313 words to this. 1313. It's kind of odd, isn't it? Sort of. Yeah. It's kind of strange. 1313 words. And I've read it, and you've probably read it as well. But we're going to analyze it. But it sounds more like an affidavit sort of thing than it actually does an interview to me. It really does. It sounds like an affidavit. It sounds like she actually, it was already typed up, sworn under oath kind of thing, But this is the actual post. As you see, it was done on November the 15th, 2018. She says he lied about everything. Still don't know really what he lied about, because from her interviews, everything she said he said was pretty much spot on, except that he was in the middle of divorce, and we all know that's not true. Or we're sure that's not true. We can't speak 100%. Because we really don't know what was going on behind closed doors of their home, But if they were, it definitely wasn't known by anyone. Not even any parents, any family, any friends. And she was very, very active on social media. And there was definitely no signs of it there. So if they were, we didn't know. No, that could have been the only thing he lied about. I think, as far as I can tell. As far as Shanann being pregnant, I almost hate to even get into that, because she knew Shanann was pregnant. I mean, come on. She searched her, and searched her. She was even doing searches for her when they were in North Carolina. So, it's just, that's ridiculous. Okay, this article was published November the 15th, 2018 at 7:16 p.m. And then they updated it November the 15th, 2018 at 9:36 p.m. So, at either rate, it was November the 15th, late p.m. So, it was probably going out for the next morning's paper, is what I assume. And this is the actual article. It's when Nichol started dating Chris in July. He appeared to be a soft-spoken man and a thoughtful father who was at the end of divorce proceedings. It wasn't until the Frederick man's wife and 2 daughters went missing in August that Kessinger learned that Watts had never started divorce proceedings with his wife, who was 15 weeks pregnant, and that he had been lying to her for the entire relationship, which lasted less than 2 months. Okay, so he lied to her the entire relationship about her being 15 weeks pregnant. What did she ask? Did she ask at the beginning of their relationship, is she pregnant? Because if she didn't, obviously she didn't, because she had said she had no clue, right? I had no clue she was pregnant. Okay, so how could he have lied to her? How could he have lied to her about Shanann being 15 weeks pregnant if she didn't even know it? So see, that's still doesn't make sense to me. Kessinger was shocked by Watts's arrest. She never doubted that he killed his wife, Shanann, and their 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste. Okay. She was shocked by his arrest, but she never doubted that he killed her and the kids. Okay, I don't think I would be shocked someone got arrested if I had a gut feeling and knew in my heart that they killed them. I don't think I'd be shocked at all if they got arrested. Would you? I mean, I wouldn't, right? She says, I don't think there is a logical explanation for what he did, she said. It's a senseless act, and it's horrific. Well, yeah, that's true. But as far as a logical explanation, yeah, there's really not one, but there's motive. There's motive. There's possibly pressure. There's all kinds of stuff that we can come up with an explanation, but there's not a logical one. I agree with that part. Kessinger approached investigators before Watts's arrest and participated in multiple police interviews, describing details of their relationship and what he had told her about his missing family. That is true. She did approach investigators on the 15th. On the 15th. Why didn't she do it sooner? I mean, yeah, she did approach him, but she also approached him on the day he was arrested. Up until that point, she was staying on the phone with him, asking him questions, FaceTiming him, asking him odd questions even. You know, what is my dog's name? Where is my yoga studio? It's, you know, that's what Chris said in his second prison interview, and he said he even found that weird. But yeah. Yeah, she did approach him on the day he was arrested and went on from there, you know. But her first interview was the day he was arrested. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that ironic? She also made the statement that on the 14th, before they got off the phone, which was actually around the 15th, I think. I think they were up on the phone till like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning on the 15th, right before this happened. But she said that she told him, don't contact me again until you find your family. Okay. Really? Really? And she says, I haven't talked to him since I told him that. Okay, of course you haven't. He's been arrested. He got arrested. Why didn't you tell him that the first night? Why didn't you tell him that before you told him to go pawn her ring? Now that Watts has pled guilty to the murders, Kessinger said in an exclusive interview with the Denver Post that she wanted to share her side of the story. Well, isn't that a coincidence? She wants to share her side of the story 4 days before sentencing. In case he redacts, in my opinion. So the possible juries of the trial will know her side of the story. Many people have speculated about their relationship after an arrest affidavit revealed that Watts was having an affair with an unnamed woman. Okay, so up until this point where she went to media, her name had not been mentioned into the media. You know, but they knew that her name would most likely come out in court. Obviously, it's going to come out in court, especially if he redacts, because his attorneys are obviously, I mean, her name's going to be there. At that point, she's going to be a witness. There's no way around it. She's going to be a witness. And she's going to have to get on stand. She's going to have to tell her side of the story and all that. So, you know, she wanted to go ahead and get her name out there and her story at the same time. And she wanted to be the first to do it. She didn't want her name to come out in media in the courtroom. She wanted to be the first to bring her name out. Watts, 33, is scheduled to appear in court Monday for a sentencing hearing after pleading guilty last week to murdering his wife and 2 children in August and concealing their bodies in a rural Weld County oil site. If the judge accepts the plea deal, Watts will be sentenced to life in prison for the crimes that drew national attention to the small town north of Denver. There you go. National attention. So right now, her name has not been released to the media or anyone. She's just been an unnamed mistress. Well, she wanted to put her own name out there, kind of like damage control, and already have her story out there, sort of like Amber Fry did, She went to the media first. It's kind of like she's doing the same steps Amber Fry did, but in a different rhythm. She waits 3 months to go to media, where Amber Fry's going the minute she finds out. I mean, she don't even waste her time even asking Scott, hey, why did you lie to me? What this, what that, what the hell, No, she didn't do that. She went straight to media. Didn't even waste her time with him anymore, because she obviously knew that was pointless. So she went straight to media. Well, that's not what Nichol did, right? She waits 3 months to go to media. She continues to text and talk to Chris hours and hours up until the moment he's arrested, right? So yeah, there's a bit of difference there, Nichol. And if you didn't think people was going to be able to see that, well, I don't know what the hell you were thinking. I understand your damage control here, but at the same time, it's just not working for me. Kessinger, a 30-year-old Colorado native, said the brief affair. Kessinger, a 30-year-old Colorado native, said the brief affair had turned her life upside down, as people have named her on social media and discussed the relationship in online forums. So, she is saying that her name has been brought out in social media and online forums, and I do in one of my past videos, and I believe it's in the final chapter of Exposing the Mistress. And I'm not, and I need to go ahead and upload those other 2 that I made prior that was on my other channel, because the only ones on this channel is the final chapter. The other 2 was quite interesting as well, because it was kind of giving her contradictions. It was kind of like a little backstory on her, and then part 2 was going into her religion and different things like that, and I think it was all very interesting, and I really need to put those on here too, and I'm going to do that. I just haven't yet. I'm making this on the new computer, and trust me, I'm lost. I'm totally lost. I hope this turns out okay, because this is the first time using this software. Always done it on my phone, so I hope it turns out okay. And I'm going to stop there because I'm rambling. Okay. This is what kills me. We had just met. I barely knew him. So she's telling the Denver Post that as well. She's still with that story. She's still with the story of we had just met. I barely knew him. I can't even believe she's still with that. But she wanted that in media. She wanted all the people that wasn't keeping up with the news, and that wasn't, and keep in mind that the discovery documents had not been released at this time. They were not released until after his sentencing and all that. So at this time, she could say that and people may believe it, because of course nobody had seen her phone records, call logs, pings, none of that. So, I think she felt safe saying that here. We all now know that's craziness. Barely knew him. Come on. She knew everything about him. Hell, she knew more about him than he did. She definitely knew more about his last 2 months or maybe more than his own wife did. So that's ridiculous. And then it goes on to say it was a brief relationship. Kessinger was working in the environmental department with an Anadarko petroleum contractor when the two met. She said during a Thursday morning interview in the office of her lawyer, Ed Hopkins. Okay, now we're gonna talk about this guy in just a moment. Every morning, Watts and the other operators would gather in the office break room while they waited to be dispatched to a field site. Okay, did you see that? Every morning. Remember in her interview, she said they didn't come in there every morning. 3-4 times a week maybe, but not every morning. So it was nothing uncommon that he was not there that morning. Remember her saying that? Well, she's telling the Denver Post, and she wants the media to see that it was every morning. Kessinger would walk through the group to place her lunch in the fridge, but she never spoke to Watts. Yeah, I don't believe that. And Anadarko proved that wrong with the emails, didn't they? She goes on to say that in the middle of June, he walked into her office, introduced himself, and they had a little casual conversation, but she noticed he was not wearing a wedding ring. She said, so, she was single and she thought he was attractive, so, she didn't back off. Okay, that's weird because they worked together and she's been working there since mid-March. Okay, this is mid-June. So you're telling me all those times that he's been in that office every day, like she said, every morning since March, just so happened in the middle of June, he walks in there and he don't have a ring on, so she thinks he's fair game. That's ridiculous. She said Chris told her that he had 2 daughters after Kessinger asked. Okay, so she's saying, okay, I had to ask. But yeah, he did tell me he had 2 daughters. And he said he was separated and at the end of divorce proceedings. Okay, 1, we know that's a lie too. Because she's saying all this happened at the end of June. In her interview, she said it happened somewhere around Father's Day. I looked it up. Father's Day in 2018 was on June the 17th. So, yeah, that was mid-June. However, Anadarko emails between him and her when she distinctively said, I want to build my life someday with someone and have a beautiful life and kids like you have made with your wife. This is early June. She told him that in an email. In this email. Okay, so right there, there's another one. It's like every sentence, every paragraph we're going through here, we can prove is a lie. Every one of them. She said, I believed him. Okay, how would she believe him? She's been searching him up on Facebook. She knows the whole life story. Yes, she believed him, and I think he probably did tell her that. I think that probably is what he told her, and I think she wanted to act like she believed him. First met outside of work in late June, she says, and then she said she started drilling him and asking him more questions about his divorce. Okay, first date, drill somebody about a divorce. That's kind of odd. It's almost like she's telling something there. She worded that wrong, using damage control, but I guess she thought no one would ever see through it. Right there's another one. It's like every sentence, every paragraph we're going through here, we can prove is a lie. Every one of them. She said, I believed him. Okay, how would she believe him? She's been searching him up on Facebook. She knows the whole life story. Yes, she believed him, and I think he probably did tell her that. I think that probably is what he told her, and I think she wanted to act like she believed him. First met outside of work in late June, she says, and then she said she started drilling him and asking him more questions about his divorce. Okay, first date, drill somebody about a divorce. That's kind of odd. It's almost like she's telling something there. She worded that wrong, using damage control, but I guess she thought no one would ever see through it. He told her it was a mutual divorce and it was almost final and they was just working on some financial details. Okay, why do you get into something that deep with somebody that you just met? You don't. You don't even go into your financial details. Come on. The two began a physical relationship early July. Saw each other 45 times a week. Well, actually, they were seeing each other every day, and he spent the night at her house every night. From the minute Shanann went to North Carolina until the minute he went to North Carolina to be with her 5 weeks. Then she says she tells him she wants to take it slow and he should focus on helping his daughters adjust to the divorce. She wants to take it slow, right? But yeah, she's already questioning him about divorce, his financial situation. He's spending the night at her house every night, but yeah, she wants to take it slow. Then she says when Chris went to visit family in North Carolina at the end of July, he called to tell her that his divorce was final. Divorce was final. Okay, hadn't even started yet. They were just trying to work on it, but they hadn't actually filed yet. So they haven't even filed, but yeah, while he was in North Carolina for 1 week, it got final somehow. That's ridiculous. We all know Nichol Googles every damn thing. I mean, anything she wants an answer to, she Googles. So obviously she's going to Google, can a divorce be final that hasn't even been filed? You know, that's ridiculous. Later that month, he asked Nichol to help him find an apartment that would be good for him and his daughters. And they never spoke about long-term plans for their relationship. Okay. He needs help finding an apartment for him and his daughters. Yet they never spoke about long-term plans for the relationship. Yet she was searching, Googling wedding dresses for 4 hours. 4 hours while he was in North Carolina, right before he got back. I guess about the same time he told her the divorce was final, she immediately started Googling wedding dresses for 4 hours. She was Googling marrying your mistress. She was Googling man I'm with says he will leave his wife. Wife. Heard that part? So yeah, they never spoke about long-term plans, but yet she's definitely done all that. So obviously, even if they didn't speak about it, she was damn sure thinking it. He made me believe that he was doing all the things that a rational man and a good father would do, she said. Okay. I'm just going to leave that at that. And then it says she never met any of his family or friends, which we know that's not true either because they work together. Chris has friends at work. Of course she met some of his friends. And I believe probably his family as well. On August the 13th, the Monday that Shanann and the girls disappeared, Watts texted Kessinger to say that he had been busy. The two chatted like normal throughout the workday. Okay, there's damage control. She knew that that was going to come out to any juror. The jurors would have full eyesight of her phone records, her pings, everything. So she wanted to get that out there in media that, yeah, they were talking on the 13th. But there was nothing said about nothing like that. But she wanted it out there in case they did say, and she knew they would, that they were talking and texting all day that day. She says at 3:45 is when he finally texted her and said his family was gone. He told Kessinger that Shanann had taken the girls to a play date and had not returned. He seemed very casual and didn't show any emotion, she said. 3:45. Until the minute he went to North Carolina to be with her 5 weeks. Then she says she tells him she wants to take it slow and he should focus on helping his daughters adjust to the divorce. She wants to take it slow, right? But yet she's already questioning him about divorce, his financial situation. He's spending the night at her house every night. But yeah, she wants to take it slow. Then she says when Chris went to visit family in North Carolina at the end of July, he called to tell her that his divorce was final. Okay, he hadn't even started yet. They were just trying to work on it, but they hadn't actually filed yet. So they haven't even filed, but yeah, while he was in North Carolina for 1 week, it got final somehow. That's ridiculous. We all know Nichol Googles every damn thing. I mean, anything she wants an answer to, she Googles. So obviously she's going to Google, can a divorce be final that hasn't even been filed? You know, that's ridiculous. Later that month, he asked Nichol to help him find an apartment that would be good for him and his daughters. And they never spoke about long-term plans for their relationship. Okay. He needs help finding an apartment for him and his daughters. Yet they never spoke about long-term plans for the relationship. Yet she was searching, Googling wedding dresses for 4 hours. 4 hours while he was in North Carolina, right before he got back. I guess about the same time he told her the divorce was final, she immediately started Googling wedding dresses for 4 hours. She was Googling marrying your mistress. She was Googling man I'm with says he will leave his wife. Wife. Heard that part? So yeah, they never spoke about long-term plans, but yet she's definitely done all that. So obviously, even if they didn't speak about it, she was damn sure thinking it. He made me believe that he was doing all the things that a rational man and a good father would do, she said. Okay. I'm just going to leave that at that. And then it says she never met any of his family or friends, which we know that's not true either because they work together. Chris has friends at work. Of course she met some of his friends. And I believe probably his family as well. On August the 13th, the Monday that Shanann and the girls disappeared, Watts texted Kessinger to say that he had been busy. The two chatted like normal throughout the workday. Okay, there's damage control. She knew that that was going to come out to any juror. The jurors would have full eyesight of her phone records, her pings, everything. So she wanted to get that out there in media that, yeah, they were talking on the 13th. But there was nothing said about nothing like that. But she wanted it out there in case they did say, and she knew they would, that they were talking and texting all day that day. She says at 3:45 is when he finally texted her and said his family was gone. He told Kessinger that Shanann had taken the girls to a play date and had not returned. He seemed very casual and didn't show any emotion, she said. 3:45. She said she was worried about his missing family, but she didn't want to make a big deal out of the situation that Chris was seeming so calm about. So then news reporters showed up at the Watts' family home. Okay, the Watts family home, the news reporters, that didn't even happen until the next morning. The next morning, on the 14th, or actually evening, it was noon when they showed up. So she skipped plumb. She just totally threw out anything that happened after 3:45 on the 13th when he said they were gone. She conveniently forgot to tell him, oh, we sat on the phone all night, we FaceTimed, we talked all morning. I was actually doing searches for Shanann Watts this morning. I was actually doing searches for Shanann Watts on, this August the 14th at 12:02 a.m. She didn't talk about none of that, no. She went straight from 3:45 till the next day. She said, I was very confused why media was at his house. Really? Really? You talked to him all night. That night you said you were just worried to death and so lost and scared and everything for his wife and kids. That's what you told in your interview. You knew they hadn't got home. So you were concerned or confused why media was at his house? Well, it's a missing pregnant woman and 2 children that never showed up, and it's highly unlike her. She did not take her car. She did not take her keys. She did not take her purse. She did not take the kids' medicine. She did not take her phone, which she cannot live without. So you were confused why they were there? Yeah, wrong answer. She says later that night she learned the full situation. Shanann's wallet, purse were still in the house. Okay, we know that's a lie. No, that's a lie. Wasn't the 14th when she learned that her purse and wallet and all that was still in the house? Because you had already heard them talking about it. It was already printed online. It was all over social media. Chris had already told you that everything was still there. But now you're saying that it was later that night. No, you knew everything was still there, Nichol, that day. Watts had left work early to let the police into his home. People had been trying unsuccessfully to contact Shanann all day. When I read the news, I found out he was still married and his wife was 15 weeks pregnant, she says. No, you knew he was still married. You knew he was still married. And you even knew she was pregnant. I'm not even going to get back into that. She says she was shocked at his life and scared for the missing woman and children. Missing woman and children. I thought if he was able to lie to me and hide something that big, what else was he lying about, she said. What did he lie to her about? Being pregnant? Did you ask him? Well, if you didn't ask him, he couldn't have lied, right? And I'm not getting back into that. That's ridiculous, and you knew she was pregnant. In a flurry of long calls and texts that night, Watts changed his story about his split with his wife. This is what she said. She said she barraged him with questions. Were there signs someone had forced himself into the home? Were the daughter's car seats still there? Was one of the girls' EpiPens still in the house? This is what she said she was asking him. Watts didn't show any emotion during their conversations and tried to change the subject away from his missing family, she said. She said it just seemed off how he was acting. And then she said while at work on August the 14th, she texted Chris, pushing him to tell what he knew about the disappearance and asking what he had done. He told her he would never hurt his family. Why would she ask him what he had done? You know, she already said that he was calm and she didn't think it was a big deal, that she probably just went to a friend's house. But yet in the same sentence, which obviously she's not going to admit here to media, she also told Chris to go pawn Shanann's ring. Says it got to a point that he was telling me so many lies that I eventually told him that I did not want to speak to him again until his family was found. What lies did he tell her? Because I don't think he did. I don't think he did. And then she said she don't want to speak to him again until his family is found. Really? Well, is that because he got arrested? I don't think she told him that. I think she said she told him that. And I think phone records prove she didn't talk to him again because she couldn't. He got arrested. It says she checked the news in hopes that Shanann and the girls would be found the next morning. She called the Weld County Sheriff's Office to tell them about her relationship with Watts and his lies. She met with the FBI investigators that day. Yeah, she went and met with the investigators on the 15th. On the 15th now. The same day he got arrested. So if she's so awesome and she's so innocent, then why didn't she go on the 13th? Or even the 14th? And why did she delete her whole phone before she went? And why did she break her SIM card before she went? She says, I just wanted to help. With a pregnant woman and 2 children missing, I was going to do anything that I could. Really? Really? Reset your phone and break your SIM card? Yeah. Appreciate the help there. Yeah, I appreciate that. That was, I know there was a lot of work to do in that, and deleting everything. That had to take some time. I appreciate that. Says her suspicions proved true when police arrested Watts later that night. Wow. Isn't that a coincidence? August the 15th for the killings of his wife and 2 daughters, Kessinger saw in the news. She said, I just felt so sad. Since his arrest, she has never doubted that he killed them. Well, that's odd too, right? Think about it this way. If you knew someone and they were such a great person and everything she said about him that was so wonderful, I can't see him doing it. He's so easygoing. I've never seen any sign of aggression from him. He talks about his kids like he completely adores them. All this. But now she's saying she's never doubted that he killed them. Why would she say that? I'm telling you, if I know somebody and I think they're just a great person, awesome guy, and all of a sudden he gets arrested for murdering his whole family, I would be like, something's not right with that. Something don't add up here. Something doesn't make sense because I know this person personally. They don't have it in them to do that. But yet she's saying she never doubted it. It's odd too. And it says the story that Watts told police that he killed Shanann after he saw her strangling one of the girls is a lie. How does she know that's a lie? Okay? I know it's a lie. Now we've got the second prison confession and he's done confessed to everything and all that. But that hadn't happened yet here. That had not happened yet here. Okay? She's not saying, I believe it's a lie, or I think that's a lie, or I don't believe that. She said, that is a lie. Okay? Why would she say that? Think on that a minute. He is a liar, she said. He lied about everything. This is Nicole's attorney. This is the attorney that she hired. He is the one that the Denver Post, it was his office they went to do her interview. His name is Edward Hopkins. He works in Colorado as well as other states. He is a defamation lawyer. If you're not familiar what that is, that's what we're about to get into. His summary is he has seen the devastation caused by lies, omission, misstatements. He represents people and businesses whose reputation, careers, brands, or goodwill were harmed due to false or misleading statements. He also represents people whose private and or corporate data or information were accessed without their authorization and whose personality, publicity, and privacy rights were infringed or violated. He served as a captain in the Air Force. His leadership roles helped to prepare him for legal battles he would face as an attorney. He routinely advises attorneys nationwide. Data breach, information security negligence, identity theft claims. He is not only a scholar on privacy and cyberbullying law, he understands the technical side of computer forensics and investigating data and image files. Ed is an experienced litigator, trial attorney who has helped his clients win in front of civil and criminal juries. So, if you want to come and look at this page, it's at Justia Law, Justia Lawyers. It's kind of like a little website to review lawyers and what they do, but I can see why she would think she would need this attorney. You know, he represents people whose private and corporate data or information was accessed without their authorization and whose personality, publicity, and privacy rights were infringed or violated. Corporate data. He does cybersecurity, so I'm sure this is who helped her to wipe herself away from the internet. And while we can't find anything on her. But this was the attorney's office that Denver Post went to do the interview with her. This is her attorney. So she got an attorney that was going to help her clear her name. From what I'm seeing here, erase herself from the internet. You know, cause slander, sue people if they are slandering her, talking bad about her, or saying bad things about her personality. We'll throw the Privacy Right Act on anyone that's violating that. So yeah, this is him, and this is where they met, and she done her interview with the media 4 days before sentencing.